Um, we got Major League Baseball, the NLCS, the ALCS, the NLDS, and ALDS had just wrapped up this weekend as well. You had the Blue Jays move on, even though they moved on earlier. You had um, the Mariners move on against the Tigers, which is a big thing. Um, yeah, the Dodgers beating the Phillies and the Brewers beating the Cubs, but now we got the first two games out of the way for the AL. You got a series tied over there. You got now the Dodgers with a 1-0 lead over the Brewers, who play tonight as well at 8:08 p.m. Eastern time. So, what were the biggest surprises of the NLDS and the ALDS since that just wrapped up?
I think my biggest one was how lifeless the Yankees looked. They were pretty much DOA in that series. You would think that after you beat your fiercest rival in the round before that, they'd put up some fight in that series, and I just didn't see it. Judge was good. Nobody else really was. That's the major takeaway from me there. And then not only that, for Toronto to go off that series and then also look dead against Seattle in this series is just it's perplexing to me. Like Seattle has looked far and away the better team besides the first pitch of Sunday's game where they gave up a homer on the first pitch. They gave up one hit the rest of the game. They shut them down 1-3-1, and then yesterday was just domination pretty much the whole way through.
Dude, I don't understand the Mariners, bro. They look unreal. Like I'm so shocked by the Mariners, like how they looked against the Tigers, obviously, but just like coming into this series, you would think the Blue Jays would play a lot better at home. Like 10-3. Like right before I walked in American Family Field, I looked at the score and it was just absurd. And I'm not I don't you guys know more baseball than I do, but I mean, are we shocked about the Mariners being this good so far? Like obviously against the Tigers they were great, but against the Blue Jays you would expect a little bit more of a fight like the Brewers did against the Dodgers with their best players, by the way. Like wouldn't you think that is just a little bit more competitive than that, or is it just me?
I mean, I think this is kind of the level Seattle has been at least in terms of talent on their roster. They probably have the second best roster left in the playoffs behind the Dodgers, I would say.
Mm.
Good pitching, some obviously you have Big Dumper in the lineup, so anything can happen with him out there. He hit a massive nuke on Sunday. I didn't really get to watch super closely yesterday, so I don't know if he hit one yesterday or not, but I mean, he's always a threat whenever he's at the plate. I know the Tigers took the chance and intentionally walked him a couple times, but that lineup just top to bottom is pretty darn solid. You got Josh Naylor, who had a huge game yesterday, Gino Suarez, who's always a home run threat, Randy Arozarena's in there too. There's a lot of good players on that team, and then their rotation, which underperformed a little bit this year, is still one of the best in the league. So, bottom line, I'm not really shocked by what I've seen from this team. It seems so far that they're well on their way, especially going home for the next two games, that this series could be wrapped up pretty quickly. Or next three games, excuse me.
Look, I'm surprised, man. Like I knew the Brewers, the pitching was gonna be good, but it was like amazing throughout, 7 or 6 innings yesterday, and then we saw the insane double play that we're probably never gonna see again. And I don't know. It's just I'm a little shocked on how things ended last night. I thought we should have maybe hit a little bit more, but Snell's like he has the best changeup I've ever seen. Like I've been watching a
I
little bit of
mean,
baseball
A
since I was
bending
young. Like,
curveball that starts up
if
and
this
just
says anything about Blake
goes left.
Snell, the Brewers, besides Durbin's single, I don't think had a single line out or fly
nope,
out
nothing. Yeah,
through the
nothing.
first 8 innings.
Nope,
And
nothing.
Durbin got picked off on the base pads anyway, so it meant nothing. The Brewers didn't have a single guy touch second base until the ninth. And then
Yeah,
obviously Sasaki was a little shaky for whatever reason. But, I mean, it was just ridiculous. Snell, like, nobody had him figured out. Like, they couldn't even get the ball out of the infield. Like, there wasn't a pop out, there wasn't a fly out, there wasn't a line out. It was wild. Like, just, there wasn't a single hard hit ball until Bowers in the ninth. It was just ridiculous, like how good Snell was. And to think that they have 3 other starters behind him that are also capable of doing the exact same thing.
Jalen, do you think that without Snell in the game the today and likely Thursday, do you think the Brewers have a lot better chance? I do. I think we have a way better chance. Seeing that last inning at least. How do you feel? I know you're a Cubs fan, but be less biased.
Even though I'm a Cubs fan, I'm a baseball realist.
Right.
But the best chance, in my opinion, is tonight.
Right.
Because Yamamoto looked very shaky against the Phillies. He got hit around a little bit against the Phillies. So I would say contact, the way the Phillies, even though the Phillies were desperate to win game 3, this is kind of like desperation for the Brewers to win game 2.
I mean, if they lose tonight, you might as well just stick a fork in them.
Tonight, the series is pretty much over.
Unless somehow you sweep in LA again, which is unlikely, but
yeah. But yeah, I think it's possible. If they come out with a different game plan. Some of the swings looked a little like they were confused a little bit, because when they faced the Cubs, they kind of, I ain't gonna say they knew what was coming, but a lot of Cubs swings looked like they were on plane and on time for every pitch, right?
Mm.
And when it looks like the Dodgers game, well, even though they knew the changeup was coming, it still looked like a fastball at first, right? Because he throws 97 from the left side. And he has like a bending curveball as well. So I would say I was gonna say that it was not impossible for them to win game 1, but the way Snell has looked, especially the way he looked against Philly in 2 starts, it was only a matter of time before he really returned to Cy Young form. And that's just credit to them. But I think tonight they probably have the best chance tonight to get it done. I'm not going to say they're going to be the favorite, obviously, because, they got their Cy Young candidate as well, Yamamoto, going. And he got something. And it feels like he got something to prove, too, after his
one of their
last
4 Cy Young candidates.
Yeah. So it's like he got something to prove from what he did against Philly. So he's going to come out with a different level of aggression, a different level of energy. So it's tough. I mean, I said this from jump that the Dodgers were the best team in the league, because of the pitching they got. I mean, I'm not going to say, some people in our group chat who, just thinks that the Dodgers are just absolutely insane, not good. Or not, I ain't going to say he didn't say not good, but he was more fearful of the Cubs, which was...
Sam's trash, everyone.
Yeah, get him in here, please. Let's hear the argument for this one.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I didn't understand that, but... Yeah. I mean, you could be afraid of the Cubs the way they were, their bats were rolling, but I always had my concerns with the starting pitching, regardless. Like, yeah. So, and it came back to bite them in game 5.
This is no disrespect to the Cubs at all either. I think this just kind of shows the difference in talent between the Cubs and the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I think the Brewers and Cubs are 2 very evenly matched teams. Their records throughout the season reflected that. They split down the middle, 7-7, but I think
9-9 throughout the whole.
Yeah, 9-9. Yep. Yeah, it was an exact 500 split. The Cubs took 7 in the regular season. The Brewers took 3 in the playoffs. Like, that just reflects how evenly matched the 2 teams were. The Dodgers are a team, I compared them to the 2017 Warriors, where they could just chill through the regular season. Don't ever really have to kick it into second gear. Then the postseason comes around, and they can just flip a switch like that. That's what we saw last night. That's what we saw against Philly. I just don't see anybody, even Seattle, who I think, like I said, probably is the second best roster. I don't think they can hang with this team. There's just too much there. And the only way the Brewers can have a chance in this series is chasing starters early. They need to rack up pitch counts, which they didn't do last night at all. They need to get the starter out of the game and get to that bullpen before the 6th or 7th inning. And then I think they have a chance to win those games, but they weren't able to do that last night, and Philly wasn't able to do it either.
Look, I got the Brewers in 7. Okay, I did not think this was going to be a fun series. I thought it was going to be very stressful. Last night was a very good example of being stressed out during the series. I think the Brewers are going to, well, now I thought they were going to win last night, but obviously things have changed. So I think tonight they got to win. If they win tonight, we go to LA, we're going to get 1, I think. And then we gotta play our ass off to get 2. I don't know if that'll even happen. But if it does, great. That's 3 out the way. Then we come back home and we can go to 7 if we need to. Best case scenario, we get home field advantage back because we lost it right now. So I think that's the best case scenario if we want to win this series. Is it going to 7? Because I don't think is going to be. I don't think it's going to be like that. Like, yeah, the
Barry
change.
Bonds ain't hitting that either.
It's pretty good.
Look,
I ain't gonna say that's a wild take. That's a pretty. That's pretty close to being a pretty good take.
Barry Bonds was so good they made him. They would walk him on fucking 3 bases back. I don't know.
I mean, that's what they did with Shohei last night too.
Nah, we didn't walk him with 3.
And that's again, it comes down to like what the Cubs didn't have. When you look at the Cubs roster, I kept preaching this. You have to hit timely hitting, and the Dodgers did that. They put up 2 runs. Obviously, it came to bite them a little bit in the end, but they were able to come in and close the door, right?
Right.
The Cubs, on the other hand, they had 3 guys the entire series to even show up during the game. That was Michael Busch, Nico Horner, and Suzuki. Everyone else was a no-show. When you look at the Dodgers, they all put together great at-bats.
Mm-hmm.
All 9.
I mean, yeah, you're right on with that. Even Andy Pages, who didn't get a hit, hasn't. Yeah, he put up an 11 pitch at bat one time, just running up pitch counts. And I almost think Murphy was a bit too trigger happy with pulling Priester in that 6th inning. I think he should have been able to finish that one out. He was only at 50 pitches. I get that they were probably trying to save him for perhaps a later go around, but Patrick came in and gave up that solo shot to Freddie Freeman, who's just. Like, I saw memes over the weekend of Bernie Brewer, walking his dog, which was the Cub. Freddie Freeman walks, he's our owner. He's just, he's everyone's owner in the playoffs. But
pretty much, yeah, I was about to say,
why does Bowers not play?
Bowers? Good question.
He's good at bat.
Bowers the thing about Bowers is he's very hot and cold. Right now, he's very hot, but he can also be very cold.
Put in Isaac Collins though on right fielder. Why is Bowers not playing that? You know what I mean?
Bowers also had a couple defensive miscues the times that he was out there too. I see what you're saying for sure because
this may be a wild take.
Collins had some terrible at bats last night.
This may be a wild take, but when is Yelich gonna start doing something?
Man, listen.
That's not even a wild take. That
is y'all's best. Bro. That's like y'all Kyle Tucker to us.
All last night when I was there, I was begging Yelich to do something. I was sitting in the stands just praying, dude, I've been trying to see you hit a homer for a month. Every game I've been to, he's just been dog, and I don't get it. I'm like, dude, help me out here. We get to the 9th and it gets up to him. And I'm looking at my friends and I'm like, dude, listen, I've been asking all day. Can you give me one more? Just give me one tonight. Give me a single. I was asking for a home run all night. I said, no, just give me a single. Yeah, he got walked. Great. But dude, I don't know what's going on with Yelich. He has not shown up at all in the playoffs so far. The Cubs series, he was a no-show. This series, he's a no-show.
I'll tell you what's happening.
Someone's in his head or something, but
he went back to his April form. Unfortunately, he had that back tightness at the start of September, and he's kind of been back in that since he took those couple games off for that. And I respect him for playing, but I don't know if he's injured or not. He might be. We'll probably never know. But if he is, it would almost be better off for him not to play in that spot because I think, like you said, call me crazy on this, Jake Bowers would almost be a better DH right now than Yelich would. Just because Yelich hasn't just been able to come through. He had 3 hits in game 2 last series, but other than that, it's been a really tough go for him. And we saw this in 2018 too. He really struggled in the playoffs that year. 2021, he struck out looking to end the game. 23, I don't remember off the top of my head. 24, he was injured, so what are you going to do there? But this series has been a bit underwhelming in the postseason. He's not seen the ball as well as he was when he was on his hot streak from May to the end of August. So it's been a frustrating go for him, and he looks lost right now.
No, nobody's scared of him either. You know how many people in the regular season were low-key scared to throw at him, and he no one's scared anymore. Like they're just throwing straight at him, strike, ball, strike, you're out.
Well, not only that, he's hitting grounders to the shift every single time.
Yeah, he's
like
just
they know where.
Yeah.
And he is just like Kyle Tucker. Now that I think about it, they hit it to the exact same spot.
Yeah. They beat him inside, get him outside to reach a little bit, or they or throw the off speed outside. They know they're. I guess you can say they know their scout report or they're doing their homework. But
I mean, Yelich is one of the lowest launch angles in the league, so when he hits a home run, it's always nuked every single time.
Yeah.
Because he needs it that way. Because he hits it into the ground so often, he doesn't have the launch angle that some guys do. Like Freddie Freeman's home run, that thing could have scraped the roof yesterday. It was so high. Yelich doesn't have that.
The thing about the Brewers, and before we move on to our next one, is they have to come out and hit early. You got to hit early. If you let Yamamoto go deep into this game, the series is over. I'm sorry, because all they're gonna do is throw Glass now in Game 3, save Ohtani for Game 4, and he's gonna have a whole lot of rest for the last time he pitched. So you got to get to Yamamoto early, like y'all did with the Cubs series. You got to get to them early because obviously we know their bullpen is insane as well.
The biggest thing is for this series, I think the Dodgers didn't play a perfect game yesterday. They left a lot of guys on base. The thing is the Brewers have to play a perfect game to win in this series. The Dodgers don't. The Dodgers have to play like a 75-80% of their best. The Brewers have to play 100.
I don't even think we have to play a perfect game. I think like you just said, they have to play 80%. We got to play 90. We just got to play 10% better.
Yeah, we got to play better than they do because I don't care what the national media says or whatever, or like all the fans on Twitter that we're not the underdogs. We're the underdogs. Look at their payroll, look at their starters, look at their lineup, look at ours. It's just that it is what it is. That's just how baseball works. The bigger markets are always going to have better players, more money to spend, et cetera, et cetera. But with that, you have to play much better than they do. And I would say the Brewers are probably a top 5 team in the league this year. And I don't think anyone can play up to the level that the Dodgers can. Like the Brewers are one of the better opponents that they're going to face all the way through. I mean, you saw what they did to the Reds. It was a literal child's play for 2 games. But I mean, it is what it is. Everyone else has to play better than they do to beat them. That's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess.
Say that I ain't gonna say he was gonna. I ain't think he was gonna go 8 innings with 1 hit ball, but it was they did like his pregame presser or their like day before presser or something like that, and they were like, what do you think about the Brewers being like the average Joes or something like that? He was like, they're not no average Joes. Like, they had the best record in baseball. I know exactly who they are. And I was like, they're fucked. Like, when I heard that, because the way he looked, he said it with a straight face. Like, I know who they are. Like, with his little smirk, you're like, he knew what he was going to do. He knew what he was going to do. He knew how he was going to tackle. I didn't think he was going to go 8 innings at 1 hit ball. I thought he was going to go like 6 maybe. But 8 innings of 1 hit ball, I thought he was gonna give up at least a run or 2 or something like that, but no runs.
He was on something, bro. He saw that. Hey, I think he considers us a threat. I mean, you have to, I guess, in NLCS.
I mean, it's NLCS at this round. You don't make it there by accident.
You know what I'm saying though. Like it's they looked at the other 2 teams like, oh, we got these guys. Like the Phillies, yeah, they're good, but like, I mean, we can play with them a little bit. But I think they show a little bit more respect towards us, obviously because we made the NLCS, but just of how we've been persevering the entire year and how we played them last time. I mean, at this point, you just got to play. You got to play your hearts out on both sides, and I don't think they're even toying with us. I think they were trying their hardest last night. They just couldn't do anything like completely crazy like usual. So,
I mean, before we go ahead,
our bullpen is also just stacked.
Yeah, there's
so. I mean, we have 3-4 guys in there that can throw 100. You throw Uribe out there. He didn't have a good night last night, but he's usually pretty reliable. McGill is another guy that can throw that fast. Miz out of the bullpen. Patrick can hit 97, 98. Ashby can hit 99, 100. His command is not always the greatest. But you got all these guys that can just throw ridiculous splits out of our pen, which is why I think bullpen games for the Brewers play into their favor a bit more. The Dodgers have to rely on their starters. The Brewers can go to the pen and still trust those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he becomes the first pitcher in history with 8 innings pitched, 1 hit or fewer, 0 walks, and 10 Ks in a postseason game. So nearly, he basically threw a perfect game.
We literally just watched history and we only lost by 1. I'm okay with that.
The one thing I'll say,
You got to shut down their
is
lineup
that-
again today, though. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
and the one thing that I'll say before we move on is the slug. It comes back like when we've been talking about this all season that the Brewers didn't really hit for a lot of power. They didn't have a lot of slug. You know, they hit you to death, they draw long counts, they get on base, steal it. That slug is going to come very important in this series. You know, you got to try to find some way to hit a double. You got to find some way to hit a gap shot. You have to. If you don't, this could be over in 5. I'm not going to lie.